Caleb Williams, is the betting favorite to win MVP next year. And I can hear everybody already saying, I mean, give me a break. You media people. First of all, he's got two big advantages. He's got a great offensive coach, and his game is fun. Matt Stafford won MVP. You think of Stafford, you're like big-time arm, no-look passes. Mahomes wins MVP, right? What? Left-handed passes. This is not voted on by an algorithm. People vote on MVP. And Caleb Williams, even when you compare him to like really talented Sam Darnold, Caleb's just different. Caleb does stuff nobody else does except Josh Allen. So, and the difference is, I think Caleb Williams, in my opinion, has a better coach than Josh Allen did. And I think Sean McDermott is very, very good. I think Ben Johnson, we may have a great one here. We may have another McVay. So the Bears went from 32nd offense, total offense, to 6th. You know what that feels like to me? Very much like Mike McDonald in Seattle, who took over for Pete Carroll. They went like 30th to 11th to number 1 in the Super Bowl. So I think Ben Johnson in Chicago and Mike McDonald in Seattle, we could be looking at, and I believe this to be true, we got a couple more McVays, guys that are just different. They're just better than everybody else.
All right, listen. I have to start by saying this is genuinely funny to me. The way this conversation is unfolding is just amusing. There's no question about it. Ben Johnson is an extraordinary mind. But the way Colin is framing this, with this reluctant tone, like he's delivering some sort of confidential scouting report. Look, I hate to be the bearer of this news, but I genuinely believe Ben Johnson has the potential to be special. Newsflash. The potential ship has sailed. He's already special. His track record speaks for itself in deafening volumes. I've got a prediction for you. Once he refines his in-game management skills, develops that situational feel that only comes with experience, I firmly believe Ben Johnson will surpass Sean McVay. When you break down his play-calling sequences, his schematic innovations, and the sheer creative juice he brings to an offense, it's superior to Sean McVay's. Not just a little, it's significantly more dynamic. What truly sets Johnson apart is the versatility he injects into an offense, a stylistic flexibility that McVay's system doesn't always exhibit. Let me be clear, I hold Sean McVay in the highest regard. If you forced me today, right now, to select a head coach who isn't named Andy Reid, my immediate answer would be Sean McVay. The reason is simple. He possesses the invaluable, tangible experience of being a head coach. He has a proven track record of managing a franchise, leading a team, and handling all the multifaceted responsibilities that come with the title. So, based on that complete body of work as a head coach, I'd pick McVay over Johnson at this precise moment. But I'm confident that within a few seasons, once Ben Johnson acclimates to the head coaching role, gains that confidence, and establishes his rhythm and routine, that hierarchy could very easily flip. It's a matter of when, not if. And speaking of situations, let's talk about Caleb Williams, my friends. The formula for this offense is deceptively straightforward. All the young man has to do is consistently execute the routine plays. Hit the open receivers, convert the standard throws. Do that with consistency, and you're looking at a reasonable facsimile of the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. This has been my persistent argument, the point I've been emphasizing relentlessly, and I'll continue to do so because it's the foundational truth of this entire discussion. This is precisely why so many of the national takes surrounding the Chicago Bears, including some of Colin's recent comments, just grate on me. They miss the core of the matter. It's going to take me a moment to unpack this fully because I want to sit with it. The discourse around this team, for reasons I'm still trying to pinpoint, genuinely gets under my skin. Maybe it's the constant pendulum swing in public opinion, the inability to hold a nuanced middle ground. Everyone rushes to either an overly optimistic extreme or a hyperbolically negative one. I can't recall the last time I listened to a segment about the Bears, whether on First Things First, ESPN, or any other platform, without feeling that familiar sense of irritation. Even this particular take, praising Ben Johnson, feels like it's underselling the totality of what's been accomplished. Ben Johnson is brilliant, and he has already orchestrated a transformation. People need to realize that the Bears' offensive line this past season was elite. They boasted the #1 pass block win rate and, if I'm recalling correctly, a top 3 run block win rate. It was a unit completely reborn. Part of that was personnel acquisition, But a massive component was the scheme, the play calling, and the detailed execution demanded by Ben Johnson. Now we're staring at year 2 of the Caleb Williams-Ben Johnson partnership. I've stated this before, and I'll reiterate it. Year 1 was the rookie season. I'm discarding 2024 as an anomaly, as a necessary developmental year. This upcoming season is year 2 within this system. If Caleb Williams dedicates himself to the craft, improves his accuracy, and, to use the basketball analogy, consistently hits his layups, the ceiling is the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about a potential 40-50 touchdown, 5,000-yard aerial assault. But that's just one pathway. They might opt for a more balanced approach. They might lean heavily on the run game. That's the beauty of Johnson's versatility and creativity. The ultimate objective won't be merely showcasing Caleb's individual brilliance. It will be about winning football games. That's why projecting specific statistics feels like a futile exercise to me. The specific numbers are secondary to the level of play they're capable of achieving. I'll admit, I get less visceral excitement from the highlight reel plays than most people. Don't get me wrong, watching Caleb scramble and launch a pinpoint pass against the Packers or the Rams is mind-blowing in the moment. Those plays are thrilling, they're spectacular, they're memorable. But let's be serious for a second. That's not the foundation of an MVP caliber season. Patrick Mahomes didn't secure his MVP awards because of a left-handed, across-the-body throw. That notion is absurd. Those kinds of plays are what build legends. They fuel the conversations about who the best quarterback in the league is. Sure, they add to the mythology. But that's not what sustains greatness year after year. Patrick Mahomes this past season was not playing like a top-5 quarterback. And his regression had absolutely nothing to do with a lack of highlight reel off-platform throws. That's a complete misdiagnosis. His issues were about consistency in the fundamentals, the boring parts of playing quarterback. When the Chicago Bears can lock in the operational excellence of the offense, and when Caleb Williams can execute at an extraordinarily high level within the structure of the scheme, finding that delicate balance between running the play as designed and knowing instinctively when it's time to freelance and break the rules. Once he masters that equilibrium, his ceiling shatters through the roof. Then, we can have legitimate conversations about MVP candidacy. I can envision a scenario where that becomes a realistic trajectory for Caleb, especially given the landscape. It's probably not going to be Stafford again. If Burrow can stay upright for a full season, he's always a threat. It feels like the national energy around Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen has cooled slightly, though that can change in a heartbeat. Justin Herbert is always lurking as a potential candidate. It's all about the narratives that take hold. That's precisely why I'm not even going to delve into a serious MVP prediction right now. The entire discourse from this past year exhausted me. However, I feel very confident in saying that betting on Caleb Williams to be great is a safe wager. But to be perfectly transparent, I could also envision a scenario that looks very similar to his rookie year. A season where he flashes all the spectacular brilliance, makes all the wow throws, but still leaves you frustrated. A season where you're constantly muttering, "Caleb, man, you've got to hit that. It's year 3. That's a layup. You can't miss those." I can absolutely see that path still being a possibility. That's precisely why I'm so intrigued to watch him play. It all hinges on the work he puts in, the refinement of his mechanics, and his overall dedication to the process. I'm genuinely excited for the potential technical breakdowns. We've seen this with other quarterbacks they've coached. They'll release those instructional videos, highlighting the subtle adjustments. Daniel Jones's improved arm angle in 2019, Josh Allen's refined footwork in 2020 compared to previous years. I'm eager to see that same kind of analysis applied to Caleb. If, by week 5 of the 2026 season, we're seeing those videos and hearing that analysis about his improved mechanics, then we'll know the Bears are in an exceptional place. It will signal that his accuracy is improving, that his consistency is trending upward, and we can definitively say, he's better this year than he was last. But here's the foundational truth. Regardless of Caleb's personal development arc, the floor for this offense is astronomically high with Ben Johnson at the helm. As long as the roster maintains a baseline level of health and competence, with sufficient talent at the skill positions and on the line, you're going to produce points. You're going to generate yards. You're going to win games. That's the floor. When you have a truly elite coach, particularly an offensive savant, the basement of your operation is automatically elevated. It's an immutable rule. You need the roster to support it, of course. But once that's in place, the only remaining question is the one that defines legacies. How truly great is your quarterback? How genuinely special can he be? And that greatness can manifest in different ways. It can be the unwavering consistency they used to attribute to Mahomes. The narrative used to be, Mahomes doesn't miss those. Those routine throws, those 6-yard completions, the fundamental layups of the passing game. The problem recently is that the phrase has shifted. You hear, wow, you don't see Mahomes miss that very often, or you just don't see Mahomes miss that. And the reason you're hearing that is because he is missing them. His greatness has been slightly diminished, not by a lack of spectacular plays, but by a dip in the mundane ones. So, if Caleb Williams can simply be consistent, if he can master the routine, if he can eliminate the missed layups, you don't even need the spectacular. Combine that boring, methodical consistency with the genius of Ben Johnson, and the result is a consistently great offense. You're talking about a team that hangs 30-plus points on the board with regularity. Think about Jared Goff. He was on an MVP trajectory with Ben Johnson's offense, but he was held back by roster limitations at critical moments, and frankly, by a persistent public reluctance to acknowledge his elite level of play. People will be far more willing to anoint Caleb. If Caleb produces the exact same statistical season that Jared Goff had in 2024 with Ben Johnson, if he secures the #1 seed, puts up the same numbers, and adds in a few of those fun, scrambly moments that Colin seems so fixated on, I believe he would be the runaway MVP. Those highlight reel scrambles amplify the narrative, which is what Colin was trying to emphasize. But in my view, the truest measure of a quarterback's greatness is the consistency of his performance. That's the bedrock. That's the foundation. That's why I consistently downplay the significance of the left-handed, off-balance throws. They're the garnish, not the meal. Those are my unfiltered thoughts on the matter. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your perspective. What's your take on Caleb Williams? How luminous do you perceive the future of the Chicago Bears to be with this duo? And just in case you weren't aware, though I'm sure you are, Ben Johnson is, in fact, a rather exceptional coach. I want to get out ahead of the curve here. I want to be on the record, stating unequivocally that I recognize the magnitude of Ben Johnson's genius before it became the consensus opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I make it a point to read every single one, whether you're in agreement with my assessment or you think I'm completely off base. Either way, let's ignite some substantive discussions. Let's engage in some respectful or not so respectful debates. Ultimately, the goal is to have some fun with this. And please, do consider subscribing to the channel. We're cultivating an amazing community here, and I would genuinely love to have you as a part of it. My objective is to build something we all feel a genuine connection to, something we're all excited to contribute to and be a part of. I believe we're making significant progress toward that goal. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps with visibility and, the algorithm. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I'll see you in the next one.